Lagos is a city where anything can happen. Trust me, it's true. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened that hot Thursday afternoon inside Balogun Market. Imagine this: you buried your brother months ago. You cried, you mourned, you even placed flowers on his grave. Then one day, you are buying shoes inside Lagos Island Market, and suddenly you see him alive, breathing, walking right past you like a stranger. Now, before I take you into that moment, let me rewind, because to understand my shock, you need to know who my brother was and what his death did to us. My brother's name was Tony. He was 3 years older than me, my role model, my friend, my biggest protector. We grew up in Surulere. If you know Lagos, you know that area is noisy but lively. Tony and I were inseparable. While I was the quiet one, always stuck in books, Tony was the adventurous one, the kind of guy who could turn even a boring evening into a mini festival. He had this laugh, deep and contagious, the type that could scatter a whole room with joy. Everybody loved him. But you see, sometimes the people that shine the brightest leave us too soon. It all started with an accident. One rainy evening, Tony was coming back from work. A trailer had lost its brakes around Dojo Elegba Bridge. He was caught in the chaos. The news hit us like thunder. My mom screamed until she fainted. My dad, who rarely cried, sat down in silence for hours, staring at the wall. And me, I refused to believe it. I kept thinking maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone would call and say, sorry, wrong person. But the morgue confirmed it. We buried him 1 week later. The burial was painful. People filled our compound, crying, wailing, some singing hymns. I remember standing by his coffin, staring at his lifeless body. It didn't feel real. This was the same brother who used to tease me, snatch meat from my plate, and cover for me when I sneaked out. Now, he was gone. After that, life in our house was never the same. My mom would sometimes wake up at night, screaming his name. My dad buried himself in his work. I tried to move on, but deep inside, I carried this emptiness. Fast forward, 3 months after the burial, I had just finished jam lessons, and my mom sent me to buy fabric in Balogun Market. If you've ever been there, you know how rowdy it is. Traders pulling your shirt. Auntie, come buy lace. Brother, na original Ankara. Customer, just check my shop now. The place is madness, but Lagosians, we know how to survive it. I was weaving through the crowd, clutching my small nylon bag tight, when my eyes caught something. At first, I thought it was stress. Maybe the sun was playing tricks on me. Because standing across the street, near a row of shoe sellers, was a young man, tall, slim, wearing a white shirt and jeans. And his face, oh God, his face looked exactly like Tony, my brother, the one we buried. I froze. My legs became heavy. The crowd around me blurred. All I could see was him. He was bargaining with a trader, smiling, that same laugh, that same posture, with his hands on his waist. I blinked several times. My heart was racing. No, it can't be. Tony is dead. I saw his body. We buried him. But my mind kept screaming, that's him. That's Tony. He began to walk away. Without thinking, I dropped my nylon bag and started pushing through the crowd. Oga, come on for road. See as you dey push person. I just didn't care. I just wanted to reach him. I shouted, Tony, He did not turn. I shouted louder, "Tony!" Still nothing. He kept moving, faster this time, disappearing into the swarm of people. I was sweating, my heart hammering in my chest. Every second I delayed, he slipped further away. I chased him through stores of fabric, past shouting traders, past women balancing trees of groundnuts on their heads. And then, just as I reached the corner where he turned, he was gone, vanished, like smoke in the wind. I stood there, panting, my palms trembling. Was I losing my mind? Did I just see my dead brother alive in Balogun Market? And that, my friends, was the beginning of the mystery that nearly drove me insane. I stood there in the middle of Balogun Market, gasping for air. People brushed past me. Traders shouted prices. I couldn't hear anything clearly. All I kept replaying was that face. Tony. It wasn't a look-alike. No, this wasn't one of those cases where you say, "Oh, maybe they just resemble small." No, this was my brother, my blood. But how? I grabbed the nylon bag I had dropped earlier and staggered out of the market like a drunk man. I didn't even price anything again. I just went home, empty-handed. When I entered our compound, my mom was outside picking beans. She looked up and frowned. "Why are you sweating like this? Did they chase you?" I wanted to speak, but my throat was dry. Finally, I whispered, "Mommy, I saw Tony." The beans fell from her hand. She stared at me like I had insulted her. "Don't ever say that kind of thing again," she snapped. "Your brother is dead. Don't let the devil use your mouth." Her voice shook. She picked up the basin and rushed inside. I stood there, frozen. Did I just offend her? But I wasn't lying. The next day, I told my best friend, Kunle. He was the kind of guy who believed in all these village people stories. We were sitting on a bench inside National Stadium in Surulere when I told him everything. He listened quietly, then said, "Guy, you sure say na Tony you see? Because sometimes spirits fit take form of person wey don die." I frowned. "Spirit ke? This one no be spirit. This one get body." He was bargaining price, laughing, sweating under sun. "Spirits no dey sweat." Kunle looked uneasy. He lowered his voice. "Some people no dey die normal. Sometimes they fake their death, or their death get another story wey nobody know." That line entered my chest like cold water. Fake his death? But why would Tony do that? If not, then what other story could there be? That night, I tried to bring it up again with my mom. She was lying on the couch, holding Tony's framed photograph. "Mommy, what if Tony did not really die?" She sat up immediately. "Don't say that," she shouted. "Don't you ever say that in this house again." Her eyes filled with tears. "Do you think I did not see my own son's body? Do you think I did not stand there as they lowered him into the ground? Don't torture me, please." I wanted to argue, but her pain silenced me. So I just nodded and kept quiet. But inside me, the doubt had already planted its seed. 3 days later, I couldn't resist. I went back to Balogun Market. This time, I walked slowly, scanning every face. My heart would jump anytime I saw someone tall in a white shirt. I even asked one of the shoe sellers, "Excuse me, there was one tall guy that stood here last week, slim, fair in complexion. Do you know him?" The trader shrugged. "Customer, people dey pass here every day. I no fit remember. Na how for you?" I bought a pair of slippers I didn't even need, just so he wouldn't suspect me. But deep down, I felt something strange. Like I wasn't crazy. Like Tony really was here. That night, something happened that made me more restless. As I lay in bed, scrolling through my phone, a notification popped up. New message, unknown number. I opened it. The message read, "Stop looking for what you can't handle." My phone almost fell from my hand. Who would send that? And why now? I quickly called the number, but it did not go through. Switched off. I did not sleep that night. I kept thinking, was someone watching me? Did someone know I saw Tony? The following week, I decided to check Tony's old Facebook account. It had been inactive since his death. To my surprise, I saw something that shook me to my core. A new post dated just 2 days ago. It was a blurry photo of Lagos traffic at night with the caption, "Life no easy, but man gas hustle." I gasped. I refreshed the page. It was still there. I checked the comments. Only one person had replied. "Guy, where you dey since? Thought you done waka." I nearly dropped my phone. Tony's account was active. I did not know what to believe anymore. My brother was either alive or someone was playing a very dangerous game with me. I decided to tell my dad. He was a strict man, rarely showing emotions, but I couldn't carry this alone anymore. In the evening, while he was reading a newspaper, I showed him the Facebook post. He squinted at it, then frowned. "This is nonsense," he said flatly. "Anybody can hack an account. Delete this thing and stop disturbing yourself, my friend." I was stunned. This was it? Just like that? He folded his paper and quietly added, "Sometimes it is better not to dig into graves that have already been closed." I froze, the way he said it, like he knew more than he was admitting. From that moment, I realized something. Maybe the truth about Tony's death was darker than any of us imagined, and I was determined to find it. After my dad brushed me off, I couldn't sleep. His words kept haunting me. Sometimes it's better not to dig into graves that have already been closed. It sounded less like advice and more like a warning. But I couldn't stop myself. I had to know the truth. The next day, I met up with Kunle again. I told him everything: the Facebook post, the strange text message, my dad's reaction. He whistled loudly. "Shoo? Oh boy, this matter no be ordinary again, oh." Then he leaned in closer. "If you really want know whether na your brother, we gats go back to that market. But this time, we no go just dey waka anyhow. We go follow am properly." His eyes sparkled with excitement. He loved danger. Me, I was shaking inside, but I agreed. 2 days later, we returned to Balogun Market together. It was a Saturday. The place was packed. Traders shouting, hawkers weaving between cars, downful buses honking. Kunle and I split up, scanning the crowd. I was near a row of second-hand shoe sellers when my heart skipped. There, standing by a store, checking out sneakers. Him, same height, same slim frame, white t-shirt, again. This time, I did not shout. I just signaled Kunle. We followed. The man moved quickly, weaving through the crowd like he was trying not to be noticed. We trailed behind, careful not to get too close. At one point, he stopped to buy roasted corn from a roadside woman. I watched the way he held it, the way he chewed. It was Tony, no doubt. My chest was thumping so loudly, I thought people around me could hear. After a while, he turned off the main road and entered a narrow alley between two stalls. Kunle whispered, "We gas follow am now before we lose am again." We rushed into the alley, but by the time we got halfway through, he was gone. I stopped panting. "Not again. not again. Then I noticed something. At the far end of the alley, there was a small gate, rusty, half open. It led into a deserted compound. Kunle pointed. He entered here. We exchanged a nervous glance. Then, heart pounding, we stepped inside. The compound was quiet, almost too quiet. Broken chairs were scattered around, old posters peeling off the wall. We heard faint voices from one of the rooms. Slowly, we crept closer. Through a crack in the wooden door, I saw him, Tony, sitting with two men. They were counting bundles of money, speaking in low tones. I gasped softly. My knees almost buckled. Kunle gripped my arm. Guy, wetin be this? I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. If this really was Tony, what was he doing here? Suddenly, one of the men inside looked towards the door. We panicked. Kunle pulled me back and we sprinted out of the compound, nearly colliding with a woman carrying tomatoes. Thief! She shouted, but we did not stop. We kept running until we reached the main road, breathless. I bent over, clutching my knees. My whole body was trembling. I had seen enough. This wasn't a ghost. This wasn't my imagination. Tony was alive and he was involved in something dangerous. That night, I could not eat. I kept picturing the money, the strange man, the serious look on my brother's face. Why didn't he come home? Why didn't he tell us he was alive? What had he gotten himself into? I wanted to tell my parents. But how could I, when even my dad warned me to leave it alone? Kunle was more direct. Guy, your brother dey involved with some bad people. Maybe na why him fake him death o. Maybe na why your papa dey act somehow. He sabi something. I dey suspect am. The thought made my stomach churn. Was my family hiding something from me? The following week, I started noticing some strange things. One night, I was walking home when I felt like someone was following me. I turned, just shadows. Another time, I came back from lesson to find my room window slightly open, even though I locked it before leaving. And then one evening, a black car slowed down beside me. The tinted glass rolled down slightly. A man's voice said, "Stop looking for what doesn't concern you." Before I could reply, the car sped off. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. By now, I knew I couldn't keep hiding. I had to confront Tony. Kunle and I devised a plan. We would go back to that compound, but this time, at night, when things were quiet. Kunle borrowed a small torchlight from his uncle. I carried a stick, though I doubted it would be useful if things turned rough. We agreed to sneak in, confirm if it was really Tony, and confront him directly. But nothing could have prepared us for what we discovered. That night, we slipped back into the market, moving through the dark alleyways like thieves. The compound was silent. The gate creaked as we pushed it open. Inside, the same chairs were scattered, the same walls peeling, but this time we heard no voices, no laughter, nothing. We crept towards the same room we had spied before. I pushed the door gently. It opened, and there, sitting in the corner facing us, was Tony, alive, breathing, and staring straight into my eyes. At that moment, I didn't know whether to run or to fall on my knees. When the door creaked open, I saw him sitting there, my breath caught in my throat. Tony, not a ghost, not a vision, my brother. He was thinner, his eyes darker, but it was him, no doubt. He didn't flinch, didn't even look surprised. He just stared at me like he'd been expecting this moment. Tony, my voice cracked. I took a shaky step forward. You are alive. He sighed deeply and shook his head. You should not have come here. Tears blurred my vision. But we buried you. We cried for you. Why? Why would you do this to us? Kunle shifted nervously behind me, gripping the torchlight tighter. Tony rose slowly to his feet. He looked older, harder, like he had lived 10 years in just a few months. Listen carefully. Everything you think you know is a lie. Tony motioned for us to sit. We hesitated, but something in his tone made me obey. He began to speak in a low, serious voice. That day when they said I died in an accident at Ojuelegba, it was true. There was an accident, but I wasn't the victim. I was the target. I frowned, confused. Target? He nodded. I got mixed up with the wrong people. At first, it was just hustle, small deals here and there. But then I discovered they were into something darker: money laundering, trafficking. By the time I tried to pull out, it was too late. They wanted me gone. My stomach twisted. So, you faked your death? He clenched his jaw. They tried to kill me that night, but someone helped me escape. To protect you and mom, I had to disappear. If they knew I survived, they would have come for you. I covered my mouth with trembling hands. All those nights, mom cried. All the pain we carried, and he was alive, hiding. The burial was staged. I was alive when I was lowered into the grave. I was given a powerful drug by the few people in the know. This drug allowed my body to simulate death long enough to fool everyone into thinking I was truly gone. The coffin had special respiratory provisions to ensure I was alive for the brief hour or so that I was buried. Kunle finally spoke up. But why are you still here in Lagos? Why not run far away? Tony's eyes hardened. Because I need to finish this. The people I was involved with, they won't stop. I have been gathering proof. Once I have enough, I can bring them down. But until then, I can't risk showing my face. As he spoke, I noticed his hands were trembling slightly. He was scared, but determined. Then he added softly, "That's why Dad told you not to dig. He knows he helped me stay hidden." My head spun. Dad knew all this time? Tony nodded. He could not tell you. The more people who know, the more dangerous it becomes. I sank back, overwhelmed. Suddenly, a noise outside. Footsteps, voices. Tony's face tightened. They found me. My blood ran cold. Kunle switched off the torchlight instantly. He crouched in the darkness as shadows moved past the window. Men's voices muttered, searching. One of them said, "Check inside, he fit dey here." Tony grabbed my arm. His grip was firm, urgent. "You need to leave, both of you, now." I shook my head, tears streaming. "I'm not leaving you again." He looked straight into my eyes, his expression fierce. "If you stay, you will die. Please, for mom." Before I could argue, he shoved a small flash drive into my palm. "Take this. If anything happens to me, give it to Dad. He'll know what to do." The door rattled. Someone was trying to force it open. Kunle pulled me by the arm. We bolted through the back, stumbling over broken chairs, crashing through the gates into the alley. Behind us, shouts erupted. "They are escaping! Chase them! Hey, come here! Hey, come here!" We ran like our lives depended on it, because they did. We darted through narrow alleys, sweat pouring, my heart pounding like a drum. The men's footsteps thundered behind us. Kunle shouted, "Left!" And we swerved sharply, bursting into the main market street. Traders yelled as we knocked over baskets of oranges. People cursed as we shoved past, but the chaos worked in our favor. By the time we reached the bus stop, the men had lost us. He collapsed onto a bench, panting, trembling. I opened my palm. The flash drive gleamed under the street light. That night, I could not sleep. My mind replayed everything, seeing Tony, hearing his voice, holding that flash drive. He was alive, but he was also in danger. The next morning, I gave the flash drive to Dad. He looked at it silently for a long moment, then sighed deeply. So, you found him. I swallowed hard. Why didn't you tell us? Why make us suffer? He placed a heavy hand on my shoulder. Because, sometimes, son, protecting people you love means letting them hit you. If your mother knew, she would never stop searching. She would put herself in danger. I couldn't risk it. I stared at him, my throat tight. So, what happens now? Dad's eyes darkened. Now, we finish what Tony started. Weeks have passed since that night. I haven't seen Tony again. Sometimes I wonder if he's safe or if those men finally caught him. But one thing changed in me forever. That day in Balogun Market taught me that Lagos is more than just noise and hustle. It's a city of secrets, shadows, and untold stories. And sometimes the people we think we've lost aren't really gone. They are just fighting battles we can't see. So whenever I pass through Balogun now, I find myself scanning the crowd, hoping, praying that one day I'll see my brother's face again, alive. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, hit the like button, drop a comment, share it with your people, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next one.